Okay, this is the sandbox, and I'm a tiny little person over here. Um, the sandbox, the point of the sandbox is creating a structure that supports your needs and your limits so that you can focus on your creative vision and your process. And in this understanding of life and the world, your creative vision and your process is your service to the world. You focusing on your creative vision and process, you making your movies, you making your music, you making your art, you making your book, and doing it visibly sharing it with the world is a service to the world. It is a service to the world, especially if you are somebody who does not fit into these dominant structures that are often perpetuating oppression and abuse and extractive results-based fuckery that we have in this world. Like, if you do not fit into those systems, if you've been forced and coerced into the margins of society and are not foundationally supported, like it is important, it is a service to the world for you to create what you create and to do it in your style, to do it in your voice, to do it with your values, and for you to be resourced while you do it so that you can share yourself, you can share your work with the world, and so that people can see alternative models of different ways of creating things from vision to the visible. Like, there is so much work that goes from the vision to the visible. There are so many systems, so many processes, so many actions that need to happen from here to here. And we can liberate these systems. We can have agency and power in deciding how we want to move through the tangible world, given our bodily, mental, psychic, whatever limits, given our limits and our needs. And in this process, too, it is super important to be questioning and reflecting on how we are moving through our creative processes, and are we in alignment with our values of consensual cultures and decolonized collaborations. And while we are doing that, if we mess up, can we take the moment to take accountability and to learn whether we need to get a new skill or find a practitioner or find an educator who can teach us better? Like, we take that responsibility in creating the processes to make our visions real in a way that is non-exploitative and non-extractive. And then when we do this, these become models for other people to use too and to iterate off of also. And I think it's like in this in between space from the vision to the visible, where we have so much power as filmmakers and artists and entrepreneurs to change culture, to make a difference, to impact the world in ways that we will never be able to fully know. And this is like the work, the process oriented work that I love so much. And I'm so in love with because in this space, there's so much opportunity to make change. Why I made this was because up until recently, just a few years ago, it blew my mind that I deserved a supportive life too. I had been raised to be the supporter, to support others, to put other people's well-being in front of my own. And I didn't know that I was autistic or had ADHD until a couple of years ago. And I burnt myself out hardcore and did not take care of my needs because I didn't really know what they were. And I also had learned to really not trust myself and my perspective and experience of reality because I was consistently being given feedback and criticism externally that my perspective was not what was actually happening. But it was just that I didn't know I was autistic. And it was that the people in my life didn't know I was autistic and didn't know how to support an autistic perspective of the world. And I've had to go down this process of stripping down life to the very basic bare bones of what do I need to do what makes me feel most alive. And what makes me feel most alive is my creativity, is focusing on my creative vision and process. I'm a filmmaker. Like, I grew up making movies and this dream to be a filmmaker in the world. And I studied filmmaking, got very involved, was in the industry, and started a production company with a friend and made movies. And because I didn't have this knowledge of what my needs were and what my limits were, and that I deserved a supportive life, I burnt out so hard and had to like crawl my way out of that burnout and just really horrible feelings of depression and lack of belonging in the world. And coming out to be like, okay, let me just stop being so hard on myself and let me see what are my strengths. And let me stop trying to convert my weaknesses into my strengths and just support them. Let me just support my limits and let me see what happens when I do that. And I've gotten to a place of coming back to my love for filmmaking and putting that at the center of my life. And then on my money edge, my supportive edge, I have this business where I help walk people through this process for themselves too, and so that they can support and serve their creative vision and process. Let's support you. Let's support you personally, you. Like, what do you need as a person? And this might be not working on your creative vision and your process for a season of your life and just taking a season of getting super committed to developing these systems and questioning what are your relationships to money, space, support, and time right now, and generating healthier, more consensual, and um, just positive relationships with these elements of life that you will need to partner with for the rest of your life. Unless money disappears, but there is going to be some sort of exchange of value. There's some system of exchange that I think will exist for our whole lifetime. I think, at least for now, it's a thing we need to figure out. And this is very based on like your nervous system and navigating your nervous system, knowing how does it feel to be in each state of your nervous system and what are some actions that you can take within each state to navigate them, to ground, to make yourself more present and at home in your body, and to be more and more and more of yourself in the world.